आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, mind, all the organs, the vital force, everything become perfected. All is verily the absolute, all-pervading, all-engulfing, blissful existence, Brahman. Let me never deny this truth. May the truth never reject me either. May all the virtues necessary to experience this truth in life be with me. Om. Peace. 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 Let us feel our names and forms which keep on shifting and changing are dissolved. In the ocean of existence. And this dissolves time and space. the truth. Not confined to any form or expression. That alone is. This is the supreme reality. As we see this, all cravings are gone. Let us feel the absolute peace of this true nature of ours. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let's begin the sixth and the last chapter of this very important Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad. And this last chapter is about illumination on all the subconscious doubts. Let us begin with our regular prayers. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishvavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we attain strength together. May our study make us illumined. May there be no dislike between us. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Since this is a new chapter and the last chapter, it is good to recapitulate some earlier parts that we had studied in last over a year that we have been studying this Svetasvatara Upanisad. Today it is the 43rd class. So it begins with our very obvious problems that we all know about. That is where this all comes from, who made this, and then why do we have all these desires, who controls all this. It is a question that certainly appears on our mundane level of life. One doesn't need to be very spiritual or religious to think about these questions. They crop up automatically. That especially they crop up when you see the things that you were quite closely acquainted with, especially the personalities. They are no longer. They say goodbye. And then as you reflect, that you can see that as a person you are also not likely to be there forever. Things are all coming and going, appearing and disappearing. So one becomes, at least curious as to what is this all about? Who made it? There must be some God. So one posits a God. It is according to our own ideas that we create a God, depending on what we expect from this world, because this God has they not only that God created everything, but has the controlling power. So what I lack in this life will be furnished by that God if I propitiate that God. That is one of the ideas that has been thought of, and various solutions to the problem have been suggested at the normal, what we call a level of our sense perception, which when systematized gets called science. So science is this systematization of our this common sense perceptions. When they are put in some order and connected together, analyzed, then we get certain understanding of how this universe functions, what is also the origin of this, what is time, and so forth. We form certain ideas about it. So all these so-called causes, it turns out that howsoever they may be stretched, they cannot solve this problem by the very nature of those instruments. The instruments, if you are stuck with those instruments, you are also stuck to their limitations. It is they function according to their limitations, like the example that I like very often, that while certainly a microscope is quite useful to study the tiny objects, you can study microbiology with a microscope, but you cannot study astronomy with a microscope. That instrument is not at all suitable for the study of astronomy. But if one is just glued to that instrument, that no, all knowledge comes from this instrument, and then your knowledge of astronomy that you gain with this instrument is surely going to be erroneous, to say the least. So similarly, if we are just holding on to this instrument of senses and brain and mind and so forth, then this instrument can certainly give you understanding of certain things, a few things, to some extent. But nothing beyond. If you want to go beyond, then one has to take up some other instrument. And that instrument has been described in the first chapter as meditation or dhyana. So, dhyana is by which you transcend layers and layers of your understanding. That is the meaning of meditation. Meditation, of course, one sometimes says that, well, I am sitting for 1 hour and repeating some mantra. Is that meditation? Well, that is not meditation till it helps you to transcend this mesh of senses and the brain. The neural network needs to be transcended. I don't know if I am able to explain that, but this is the direction that the meditation goes in, that our common perception and the interconnection between them, that is, up to that the brain is certainly very useful. Now, just as if you want to study astronomy, you have to keep aside the microscope and take a telescope. So similarly, if one wants to know the truth that is not perceivable by these senses, then you have to keep this instrument aside. That is one aspect of meditation, that the tremendous stranglehold of this sensory organs and brain has on us, that stranglehold is to be removed. And thus, just to stretch the analogy that I was giving earlier, suppose that microscope is stuck with whatever duct tape or whatever things that one uses to your eyes. Then of course it is difficult to get rid of it and then study the astronomy. It is, if the microscope is not only you are holding and keeping down, but suppose it is stitched or duct tape to your eyes. Now it is, first thing is to remove it. This is the first step in meditation, sometimes called as pratyahara. That pratyahara means you just separate your understanding instrument, the mind, from the neural network. So that now you are able to see the reality that was not available to you earlier. Another example you can take is that suppose you are seeing at the outer world from a closed room by a small hole in a wall. Now you will get only that much understanding of the world that to your eye can see through that little hole. Now if you want to see the universe as such, one has to go out of that room, and then you will see how big the world is. It is similarly, this is a whole. Our instrument of knowledge, that is this sense organs and the brain and the mind, it provides a tiny hole through which we perceive this reality. And therefore it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Just as if we are seeing through the hole, we will not make sense of many things that we are seeing, because we won't see the origin, appearance and disappearance of them. So therefore the doubts come, the contradictions appear, the life becomes a struggle. This is a practical truth, friends, experiential truth. The suffering, the bondage, the lack of love, all this is not a matter of speculation or metaphysical conception. It is matter of direct actual perception that this is how our day-to-day life is. And why so? Because we are stuck to seeing the truth through that hole. So the first thing is learn to meditate. Means take this our attachment to this instrument of mind and senses away. Keep it aside. Keep it aside. The problem is not that the world is red, but you have put on the red glasses. So what you will see everything red automatically, not because everything has been painted with red, but because you have put on the red glasses. So we see this universe in this manner just because we have put this glass of mind, sense organs. And so this is the first step in getting at the truth. And it has been described in that beautiful, a very important verse in the first chapter, that those te dhyana yoga nugata apashyan, by following this method of meditation, means transcending this apparatus of senses, brain and mind, they now see that the truth. What is that? Devatma Shaktim Swagunair Nighudam. Now this truth cannot actually be expressed in words, but still they try. That it is the one reality which by its own capability, its own guna, power, is appearing manifold. That's it. It is the one that is one, and yet uh, it appears as many. There is this is told and have shown how. Otherwise, if you don't see this, how complex this life is. It is a terrible vortex that we get caught in, and thus there is no end to our, sufferings, our bondage, life after life. We keep on suffering into this world. No answers to the contradictions that one will be experiencing during this. So it is, these contradictions will be there because we are stuck with those. We want those as it were. We don't want to get rid of them. So it is, these contradictions have no solution. Moreover, the experienced bondage has no alternative. We want. And so one asks this question, do I want this bondage? The answer is automatic, no, I don't want the bondage. Do you want to suffer? Well, the answer is no, I don't want. Then there is no medicine here. Like if somebody has a headache, well, do you want headache? No, I don't want. And then therefore what causes headache, you have to stop that. So this our addiction to this world is the cause. Then therefore various types of devotional practices have been described, and gradually the mind has been trained to see the efficacious meditations, the devotional practices, how gradually by seeing that God who is in everything, who pervades the whole reality, who is our very self, by meditating on that God, how we will break all the bondages has been explained. And because of laying lot of emphasis on that divine loving principle, God, what has happened is now the mind has been made full of this devotion, bhakti. That bhakti is then the vehicle that has been described, the love. One has to feel the love for that. That just as Sri Ramakrishna used to say that you can see God if you love God. And what is the sign of loving God? That you miss God. In this world, do we not see a person whom we love a lot, who is, very close to our heart, and if we do not see that person for some time, oh, where is he? Where is she? What happened? You miss their presence. Is it not, Teresa? That okay, you feel I must see. It is when you want to see, then that shows that you are missing that. And therefore you cry also that why is it happening? Why is that person not meeting me? What wrong did I do? Crying. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say, we cry in this world for what we miss. Like if we lose money, and then people cry that, oh my goodness, all my savings, this, that is gone. Uh, I am reading in India, a few people died or some committed suicide because all their savings were gone when one bank has gone out of business or something like that. So now, because that is something we value, we therefore miss it. And so, if we see that it is gone forever, life becomes not worth living anymore. So, and you shed tears profusely. If some very near and dear relative is gone, even the thought of it makes you so, miserable, and one starts crying for that. Do we miss God like that? Ah. Do we miss God? Okay, some a little bit pastime, go to some Vedanta class and understand about it, read a nice book. That is all right. I mean, nothing wrong in that. But the fact is that we will be able to see the truth. As Sri Ramakrishna says that, well, you surely will be able to see God if you can weep for God, for that not seeing God. Weep for that. Weep in a sense by missing, not that somehow by some artificial means you start having a lot of tears. It is there is, I have got some to clean the eyes, artificial tears. So you put them in eye, and then the eyes start watering. So it is not that. There should be that sense that I miss God. It is that should be felt, and then that is the sign that now that God has become real in your life. It is. Otherwise, it is a theoretical idea, a word of which we do not know meaning. That is God means. That is how the common place use of this word God, common place use of this word. Well, God alone knows, as we say. And God alone knows means what? Nobody knows that that is God for us. It is just a phrase, that's all, that we do not have any meaning that we can attach to it. So, but when we see that through meditation, a glimpse of that, then that becomes a reality, a lovable reality. And we will, because what happens, whatever we really want, we start getting it through that. It is, we start getting more happiness in life, more contentment in life. Also, we understand the purpose of life, and so forth. So, it is something that we want. And so, if we are not having it, then we start crying for it. I want, like the children, like this Kabir and Kartik, and that if they want something, then they start crying for it. I want, cry till they make the life of parents hell. Okay, take it. It is, take it. Don't bother me anymore. Do you do like that, Kabir? Huh? Huh? Sometimes, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. That it is, yeah, they know how to do that. They are expert, because the kids are expert in that. So we also, have some, if it is, God is missed, then we start really crying for God. I want God. And then that devotion enables us to do whatever is needed to realize God. It is one child to make him behave. They wanted to do all this mischief, so the parents devised that, okay, if you do not behave, we will reduce your tablet time, because the fellow was terribly attached to tablet. It is that whatever that iPad or so. If you do not behave, you will not get the tablet for a certain this thing. The fellow was allocated half an hour a day. If you do not behave, then 10 minutes will be deducted from that. So, now doesn't want to lose that tablet time. It is. So, in fact, even after 30 minutes are over, wouldn't yield. Wait. Just 5 minutes. Just this, let me finish this. Oh, this is so good, and so forth. So, now if the big 10-minute chunk is cut out of it, what a huge loss, you see. So, it is. Therefore, for that, the child will do whatever is told, will behave properly. It is the purpose of behaving properly is not that it is a proper behavior and I should do that. But if I don't do that, then then I miss my tablet time, and therefore it is to be done. So we start behaving, controlling our life, because we want God. And then if we control our life, if we control our propensities, then okay, we will get God in our life. So this is the nature of sadhana, spiritual practice, to meditate, to control, to do all that by which one will be able to get rid of all the obstacles and will be able to feel the presence of God within us. Now, almost everything has been told in last 5 chapters. The truth as philosophy, also as practice, all that has been explained, but something still remains, and sages know that, and that is all that is hidden in subconscious. At the conscious level, the doubts have been resolved, but we live very little by our conscious mind. Most of it is lived by the unconscious mind, and therefore the illumination has to get to that level. If it doesn't get to that level, then it doesn't do much. Like certain pain that I have, and then some massage will it do? The doctor said, no, that won't help much, because the problem is deeper inside. So your massage will not be able to uh, get to that level, and therefore is not going to be of any important help. It is because it has to penetrate there. If it doesn't penetrate, then it won't be able to help. So similarly, our awareness, our behavior, all have a lot of root. Lot of it is in the subconscious level. And the sages know that is what is preventing us. Conscious level, yes, we make determination that this is how I will behave in life, this is how I will conduct myself, and this is the truth that I understand. But then it is afterwards something happens and our resolve gets kind of toppled, or if it remains only at the external level. It doesn't have the internal connection. Just for the sake of maintaining the rule, we keep it, but it doesn't have the internal connection. It is like you have in your car, say, gas pedal. Now, as you press on it, what happens, Charlie? The car slows down? No, it speeds up. So it is. So it has a connection with the release of the fuel to the engine. So now if that connection is cut, then you can keep on pressing on the gas pedal and nothing will happen. So you will be pressing on the gas pedal, but that will not actually make the car go. So because the connection with the mind is kind of snapped. So therefore one does the spiritual practice as a matter of rote, okay, as a matter of some habit, which is good. I mean, it is, but its impact is not seen because it is only external and not internal. So the gas pedal will be pressed, the car will not move. As there is that verse from Kabir, that there was a Saint Kabir, not this little boy sitting here. He also has the name Kabir, So it is, he says that if you are doing your rosary, that it is okay, that bead is turning in your hand, fine, that's good. Then you are repeating a sacred formula, a mantra, so your tongue is moving in your mouth. That is all happening, but it doesn't have connection with mind. So mind is also rotating all over the world. So that is, therefore, he says, that is not a real meditation. It is real meditation. It is, say if somebody loses phone, smartphone these days is more valuable than maybe life also. You lose the phone. It is how valuable. It is told in a joke that if you go there, there are all those robbers and all, they are on that lane there, be very careful. They may kill you. Not only that, they may snatch your phone also. So it is so very important. So if you lose the phone, then where is my phone? Where did I put it? What happened? Unless the phone is found, the mind is always thinking on about the phone. My phone, where can do other things, but it is glued to the phone. So similarly, that externally we may repeat the mantra and all that, do the worship, offer flowers, and chant the hymns. All that is going on, and it should go on, that is fine. But unless it is able to illumine the subconscious layers, it will not bring actual illumination. And this sixth chapter lays emphasis on that. Then only the disciples' illumination will be really complete. Otherwise, it will be just superficial. So, it is the God will not actually be realized in life. So, let us begin with the first verse, which actually is at a different level, but very similar to what we studied in the second verse of the first chapter. स्वभावमेके कवयो वदन्ति कालं तथान्ये परिमुह्यमानाः देवस्यैष महिमा तु लोके येनेदं भ्राम्यते ब्रह्मचक्रम्. Some deluded thinkers speak of nature and others of time as the force that revolves this wheel of Brahman. But really all this is only the glory of God manifested in the world. It is the God alone is manifesting like this. There is no other cause. It is other causes. They are not really the causes, although they appear as like time and nature. That is the two main modifications of how our senses and mind formulate the cause. So, one is nature, that is in nature these things happen. You may think that, well, science explains nature. No, science does not. Science surrenders to nature, that's all. That why this happens? Well, this is the nature of it. Then why this does electricity happen? You go and say this happened, but how this happened? Well, it is nature of it. So it is nature, that is the answer. After probing a lot, it is nature or time. It happens because of the times. It is this time cycle. That is how it happens. So, but these are only secondary causes. The real cause is beyond this nature, beyond time. It is the manifestation of this one that is appearing as many. That is the cause. So this is to be held on to. There is nothing much to explain as such in this, but it is matter of seeing or holding on to this truth that it is not explainable as such through various means, except that it is that God alone is like this. Once I remember long back, one of our Swamis, that it is, he was not into giving lectures and all that, but a very wise man, quite senior to me. So I was a novice, and then I asked him that how you know that there must be something, that it is that a dog has this sound, a dog makes this sound, a cat makes a different sound. What is that? You are Swami, you know so many things. Please tell what is the difference. And then he said, well, there is, it is the God who makes different things differently. It is God is one without second. And now when it manifests as many, many means difference and variety. That is how it is. That is how the person A is different from person B. It is why Millie is like this. Millie is, therefore it is, she is Millie. That is why she will be doing like this. Millie is like this. Vishwanath is like that. Swami is like that. It is the variety means differences. It is, otherwise it is one. If you have absolutely no characteristic that you can show as separate between two things, any separating characteristics, then they are not two, they are one. So the very fact that you see many things, that they have to have different characteristics, that is how everything is different. That Swami told, you ask like that, I don't ask like that, because that is you and this is I. So in manifestations all these differences have to be there. It is, that is the meaning of manifestation. It is, otherwise it is just one without second. So see, one has to feel this, that it is just Maya manifestation, that it is, everything is therefore different, has to be different. Some have the conventions, this is right and this is not right. And the others have different conventions, this is right, this is not right. It is that, like in some places, that somebody was telling, in that community, it is horrible to eat eggs. That, oh, how can you eat eggs? It is considered terrible sin. You can eat chicken, that is okay. Yeah, because it is egg, there is, one may laugh, but there is a sound logic, there is some logic behind it. It is because you are killing in the fetus, Yeah, you are eating the egg means you are, killing before the birth. So that is therefore not allowed, and so forth. So this is a variety in opinions. And that is why, there is a socialist model of governance. That is one way of thinking. There is one capitalist model of governance. There is some nationalistic model of governance. So many different models are there. Why? Because people are different, they have different views, and then the people belonging to one sort of thinking, they demonize those others which think differently, that they are so bad. It is this is how the world of variety has to be, that from one angle certain things look good, from another angle something else look good. It is all different. Got it, Naomi? Yeah, that is the variety. It is nothing in that is actually independently right as such or wrong as such. It is according to how one's brain thinks that is right, otherwise that is wrong. So, this is the idea here, that yena vritam nityamidam hi sarvam jñakalakaro guni sarva vidyah tene tene shitam karma vivarta iha. What is it? Prithivya tejo nikhlani chintyam. That it is that yenavritam, that God alone appears as all this. Yenavritam. That it is sarvam, all. And then that is the source of all knowledge. Jna. It should be known that that energy assumes various forms such as earth, water, light, air, and ether at the command of Him who is the master of the gunas and the maker of time, who is unmanifest, who is pure consciousness itself, and by whom all this is ever enveloped. It is ever enveloped. That is a very important thing to know, that you may leave God, but God will never leave you. That is how, that is ever there for us. It is a devotee may get disgusted, why God did like this to me. When some misfortune befalls, then this comes as a shock to many people, that it is, and many such examples are seen in life, natural. So they say, I will not have anything to do with God. That God who did this to me, why should I pray to that God? Well, you may leave God, but God will not leave you. Because that is how the God is in everything. That is always present, whatever you may think about it, and is the maker of differentiation and time. Gunas means the different qualities, sattva, rajas, tamas, and various permutations and combinations that you see in this world of that. Everything is so different from another. It is interesting, to see that there is no one as such there. Everything will be different from very similar looking another thing. You will find some little difference. So there is the difference is made by Him. And then time. Everything has coming, staying, and dissolving. Kalakaro. The time comes by His wish, changes by His wish, goes away by His wish. Time is the map or the boundary in which things are moving about. So that is time. That time also he has made. It is like a painter then takes a sheet of paper first. Now that is the time on which then the person will paint things. So that is the time, and we have the time here. And then, but it is pure consciousness, by which everything is enveloped. We shall continue to study this. Uh, Next Friday we shall see the third verse. Any questions about today's discussion? Okay, then we shall conclude with the closing prayers. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.